So today we're going to go over the boxes, and more boxes. So this is probably one of the more intimidating sections of the artwork because there are so many of these things. I don't quite know what to do with them all, but I guess we'll just find out. So first of all, we have the three pieces for this longer one, which I believe goes on the chest plate of the ARC Trooper. So from what I gather, you just kind of like, trim the opening here on the front piece, and you also kind of do it on the back piece. That way you can put these two pieces in together and then kind of make a little back there, and then this one goes on top of one of the hinges, Unfortunately, I cut my piece a little too thin, so it kind of ripped, but so like I may or may not just kind of like get rid of these two pieces and just focus on the back seam here with those. But anyway, yeah. So for right now, I'm just going to focus on just gluing these two pieces together and then worrying about this when I put the lid on. I may have to trim off the first few corners of these because it looks like they're kind of pushing up the pieces, so I'm probably going to maybe like either sand or just cut those, trim those down a little bit so that way this piece kind of fits more easily there. Then of course, so they sent us a lot of hinges. I'm not entirely sure which one goes to what. Some of them are pretty straightforward because they have like a little imprint of the hinge on the back, but I'm not seeing one for this piece. So whichever one I pick, come to think about it, I might have to trim these off anyway because like if say I take, it's probably going to be, since this is a bigger box, it's probably going to be these medium-sized hinges. If I'm going to do something like, put this hinge on the back here, and then maybe either on the back, well, if I do the back, then I'd have to, definitely get rid of that, so that way there's room for that to fit in, and then just have this over on top like that. Well, we'll have to figure that out as we go along. But for right now, we're just going to focus on gluing these pieces together. Although I might have to go through and trim this off a bit because you can see that there's kind of little ridges here. I'm going to have to try and straighten that out a little bit. So I'll get to that later. But yeah, so I'm just going to glue this piece and then worry about doing the hinges on this part later. So then for the next ones, we have these are probably the two biggest ones we have. So here, same principle, you just cut the opening here on the front piece. I believe, no, actually, yeah. Just cut this here, and then like the back is supposed to be the back piece here. Once again, like, they're not fitting quite perfectly, so I might have to do some trimming on the inside corners so that way they can kind of fit together, because right now, like, they're really pushing up against the front piece right now. And then same thing, just get one of the hinges. I imagine I'll probably be using the other two of these ones. Same, just kind of putting one right here, and then the other on the back. But yeah, as you can see, like, it's not going to be able to get down very well because, these are sticking out so far. So I'll have to do some trimming and figure out what to do with those. Then for these, which I believe are meant to kind of fit, house these guys. I mean, like, they're about the same size and they go kind of in together. These are kind of like almost holsters. You know, as you can see, there's a little groove in here which I cut holes in, and then you put a strap through and kind of hook it onto your hip. And they're each marked. I don't know if you can see it, but there's an R right here and an L on the other one, so it kind of tells you which one goes where. This one looks pretty straightforward. You know, just trim it out and then glue the pieces together, which I'm going to do right now. Just going to pop a little bit in there first, and on this side as well. Get one of our clamps. Yeah, I'll do it this side just so we don't. There we go. Then we'll do the same for the other side. Just pop a little bit in here to start off. And then a little bit, rats, okay. Well, you can always sand that off later. Pop a little bit right there. And then we'll just put a clamp right there. Let's see, then we might as well, like, we won't be able to put a clamp on this part since there's no way to get a clamp in there, but I'll just run a little bit of glue. Now, for some reason, these weren't, the back pieces weren't at the same angle as the front piece. See how this one kind of droops up a little bit, whereas this one's on the flat side? So, like, if you were to put them flat together, then this part would be sticking out, you know, like this. So, like, I'm not quite sure what I was supposed to do right there, but for right now, we'll just, like, no one's gonna see the back of this, so. There's not even glue reaching down there, but. Oh well, okay, well the important thing is we get the front. So that's that side, then we'll do the same for this. Okay, we got that there. Next little bit. Trying very hard not to get glue on the clamps. Okay, then we'll just run a little bit along here. I'm not even sure if there's anything getting into that little spot down at the bottom, but there we go. Ooh, come to think about it, I probably shouldn't have this thing face down in case we don't want to glue it to the table or anything. Alright, so those two are on their way. And I've already glued myself. Dang it, okay. I'm just going to skip on to the next video. Hang on while I clean myself up.